Indonesia, a land of coconut palms, rice fields, and amazing coffee plantations, is home to 275 million smiling faces. Located in Southeast Asia, Indonesia is an archipelago of 17,000 islands which straddle the equator for more than 3,000 miles. Nearly 60% of the entire population of Indonesia reside on the island of Java. The land area of Java is about the size of the state of New York. However, its population is equal to the combined populations of the states of New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, California, Texas, Illinois, and Florida. Indonesia has the largest Islamic population in the world, with 85% of its 275 million registered as Muslims. I live on the northwest coast of Java in the capital city of Jakarta. The urban core of this modern city has a population of 11 million. One of my ministries is training Sunday school teachers. Sometimes this includes my traveling to different churches across the islands to hold Sunday school teacher seminars. However, on a regular basis, I teach on 2 different campuses of our Bible college in Jakarta. The subjects I teach include Sunday School 101, Human Growth and Development, Visual Aids, Sunday School Administration, as well as teaching techniques. Each of my students has the opportunity to lead a Sunday school song using a visual they make, to teach a Sunday school lesson along with a memory verse, and to share the gospel by using the wordless book. It's exciting to see our graduates often return to their home islands to begin a new work or to help minister in a church that has already been started. Many years ago, after his graduation, Yandri returned to the island of West Timor to begin a work. In time, other graduates from West Timor returned to their home island, and today there are 4 mission churches in West Timor. Martin Luther, who is originally from West Timor, went to the city of Manado in the northernmost province of Sulawesi after he graduated to pastor a mission church there. A large group of our graduates from Kalimantan returned to minister to their own people. Today, there are at least 12 independent Baptist churches and missions scattered across western Kalimantan. After Bible college, Daud and his wife Noor traveled to Pekanbaru on the island of Sumatra to take over a mission work that had been left vacant when its young pastor died. The ministry has grown and they now have a new building. 3 years ago, a new mission work was started about 6 hours away. Nifo and his wife, who recently graduated, have taken over that ministry. Just off the western coast of North Sumatra is the tiny island of Nias. A majority of our alumni from Nias have returned to minister to their own people there. Today we have 12 churches scattered across the island. Independent Baptists now have churches or mission works in all the green-colored islands of Indonesia. We are praying that one day not only all the islands, but also all the provinces of Indonesia will have an independent Baptist church. When a graduate goes out to start a church, the mission often begins as a Sunday school, so Sunday school materials are greatly needed. Many years ago, the Lord burdened my heart to make Sunday school materials available in the Indonesian language for all our independent Baptist churches and missions to use. Preparing these materials not only includes translating, but also much printing, cutting, gluing, and assembling. The materials are packaged and then sent out to our churches to reach thousands of boys and girls throughout Indonesia. In March of 2020, when I learned of the COVID lockdowns, I asked Agnes, a 2017 graduate from our Bible college and a dynamic Sunday school teacher, to come to my house to help me make Sunday school videos. Each week, using my cell phone, I videoed Agnes teaching the children Sunday school lesson. This lesson was then sent out to our Sunday school children throughout the country using WhatsApp, which is an application that most Indonesians use on their phones. Several Sunday school teachers posted the lessons on YouTube as well as on their Facebook pages. A year after Agnes and I started making the Sunday school videos, Agnes told me of her burden to share the gospel with her family members who reside on the island of Sumba, almost 1,000 miles from Jakarta. In March of 2021, Agnes was able to return home to begin a children's ministry in Sumba. Stephanie then took over teaching the Sunday school lesson for the videos we had been making until our children were permitted to meet again in person. Shortly after Agnes returned to her hometown, she gathered the children in her neighborhood and started teaching Bible lessons. Some of the children she picked up on her motor scooter. Since she was the only teacher, she first taught the younger children, and then when they colored their papers, she had the older children gather for their lesson. Then Agnes had the opportunity to open another children's ministry outside the city. In time, many of the older children from both areas came to Christ, as well as Agnes's parents and two of her best friends, Tammy and Ira. In March of 2022, when Pastor Tambunan, his wife, and son went to visit, there were 16 people baptized. Then in July of 2022, when I had the opportunity to visit Sumba along with Pastor Tambunan and his wife, there were 4 men baptized, including Agnes's father. During our visit, Ira opened her home to us one evening. I spoke to the ladies and Pastor Tambunan taught the men. Ira and Tammy are now helping Agnes teach the children, and Agnes's parents are very active in the work. We are praying for the Lord to send a man to pastor there full time. Vacation Bible School is also a large part of my ministry. Even though it requires a great deal of preparation and effort, I love Vacation Bible School. Preparation work usually begins at least a year ahead of time. Lessons and workbooks must be translated, theme songs written and visualized, workbooks printed and assembled, and crafts prepared for use. For years, it has been my desire to hold Vacation Bible School on the island of West Timor. After months of prayer, preparation, and the shipping of materials, Pastor and Mrs. Tambunan and I, along with 5 others, boarded a plane at 2 a.m. in July of 2022 to fly from Jakarta to the city of Kupang in West Timor. Almost immediately after takeoff, our pilot announced a problem with the landing gear and informed us that we would be returning to Jakarta. Finally, after 2 hours of burning off enough fuel, we landed safely in Jakarta without incident. 5 hours later, after a change of planes, we finally landed in Kupang. For 5 days, we held Vacation Bible School at Efata Baptist Church in Bena, the church that Yandri started after he graduated from Bible college. 2 of the other mission churches in West Timor trucked their children in each day, and the 3rd mission had their children and several of their parents stay in the village. For those of us coming from Kupang to Bena, we had to travel 2.5 hours by car each morning and another 2.5 hours back each afternoon. The first hour or so, the roads were fairly straight, but then we had to travel through a mountainous area where there were many twists and turns in the road, which caused some of us to have motion sickness. There were parts of the journey where the asphalt had broken apart, just leaving dirt and rocks. It wasn't an easy journey to make each day. However, the joy we experienced at Vacation Bible School surpassed any discomfort we felt. The children were a delight to teach. They loved learning new songs and were attentive to the Bible lessons. They had such fun making crafts and were delighted to receive a wordless book bracelet. After our song time, the younger children remained in the auditorium and the older children met under an awning outside. However, Wednesday through Friday it rained, so the older children were unable to sit on the ground under the awning because it was too muddy and wet. Not to be deterred by the rain, our pastors and teachers had all the older children squeeze into a small room behind the church for the Bible lesson. Then half of them walked up the hill from the church and met in the home of one of the church members for the workbook time and games. When it came to the quiz time, the men of the church poured sacks of rice husk on the ground so that the children could at least stand under the awning for the quiz and not be in the mud. There was indescribable joy to have a high of 233 with 33 professions of faith, including 5 adults. I thank the Lord that He has allowed me to work for many years with Pastor Tom Boone and his family, as well as with others in this needy harvest field. Thank you for your part in this ministry. Please pray that the Lord will send more missionaries to Indonesia. Do you hear Him calling you?